The room went quiet the moment he laughed, not because it was loud, because it was cruel. "No job," my ex-wife's new husband said, swirling ice in his glass. "A man your age just floating?" 5 men around the table smirked. Bankers, clean suits, clean hands, dirty mouths. I stared into my drink and felt the old familiar thing crawl up my spine. Not anger, control. My ex-wife, Anna, sat beside him, didn't look at me, didn't defend me. That was louder than his laugh. My phone vibrated in my pocket. A single message. "Board approval confirmed. Accounts under your authority." I didn't reply. I just watched the man who had replaced me try to feel bigger by stepping on what he thought was nothing. He didn't know he was sitting in a building that carried my name and its legal foundation. He didn't know every one of his friends at that table worked for me. And he didn't know I'd been letting him think he was powerful. Anna's eyes finally met mine. There was guilt there. Fear, too. I wondered how long she had known, how long she had been lying. Because this wasn't just about a new husband. This was about a betrayal that started long before the divorce, and I was only just beginning to trace its shape. When Anna left me, she said it was because I had lost direction. No job, no office, no ambition. That's what she told everyone. What she didn't tell them was that I had quietly sold my tech company to a private equity firm for 9 figures, that I had stepped away from visibility, not from power. And she didn't tell them that she'd started seeing Mark, the bank manager, months before the divorce papers were filed. I noticed it in small things: her phone face down, her perfume changed, late meetings that never showed on her calendar. I never accused, I watched. That was my mistake. By the time I asked for the truth, she had already rehearsed her lies, and I had already been replaced. Now she sat beside him, his hand on her knee like a trophy. The man who once cried in my arms now laughed at my absence. But what cut deeper than her betrayal was something else, something quieter. Mark knew things about me he shouldn't have. My financial silence, my empty LinkedIn, my jobless status. Those weren't public. Anna had told him. She hadn't just left me, she had handed him my vulnerability. So I began doing what I do best. I looked. Bank filings, ownership chains, investment vehicles. Mark's bank, my bank, the one I had acquired through 3 layered shell companies after selling my firm, the one I had never put my name on. He thought he worked for shareholders. He was wrong. I pulled HR records, his bonuses, his promotions, all signed off by me. I didn't feel anything when I saw his name, just focus. Then I checked Anna's timeline, when her affair started, when the divorce lawyer was hired, when she transferred money from our joint account. She hadn't just cheated, she had been planning, with him. That was the real betrayal, not love, strategy. I didn't confront them, I waited, and I invited them to dinner. That night, Mark's friends laughed again. "So," he said, leaning back, still unemployed. Anna stared into her plate. I placed my phone on the table, open, a single PDF. Mark frowned. "What's that?" "Your employment contract," I said softly, "and theirs." The table went still. "I own the holding company that owns the bank," I continued. "I've owned it for 2 years. His smile cracked. "Stop joking." "I fired your regional director last month," I said. "You took his office." Silence. One of his friends went pale. Another reached for his phone. I raised a finger. "Don't." Anna was shaking now. You told me." "I told you I stepped back," I said, "not that I stepped down." Mark stood up. "You can't." "I already did." I slid another document across. Termination letters, all 5 names, effective immediately. The room filled with something worse than anger, understanding. I stood, looked at Anna. "You didn't love him," I said. "You loved what you thought he was." She cried. I didn't. I walked out, left them sitting in the ruins of their own arrogance. By morning, Mark's access was revoked, his accounts frozen, his reputation collapsing under quiet legal weight. I didn't have to touch him. I just stopped holding him up. That's the thing about power. You don't have to scream. You just withdraw your support, and everything falls. I don't think about Anna anymore. Not with hate, not with longing, just absence. She chose what she thought was strength. I chose truth. And truth doesn't beg. It waits. And then it collects.